I bid you greeting, Nicholas and one and all. This is Barry Paul coming here with a little video. I'm going to describe some of my artwork which is laying before me. Okay, now at the very top to the left is a drawing I did of like a cosmic spaceship control panel. Now in this race they're very advanced. They use genetically engineered brain kind of thing. In other words, they create brains outside the body and they have housed in kind of like a life support system which controls their computers. That's what that represents. Now, it looks kind of primitive because I'm using my human thoughts to come up with it. Now, the top one to the right is a prismatic energy cosmic Ouija board, which my friend Nasha helped me design because I needed a full point of references so that I could communicate with her. Okay, now to my bottom on my right, this was, as I stated before, was a kind of like a very specialized analyzer machine. It had analyzer, it had spectroscopes, it had chemical analyzer, lasers for cutting and arms for grasping stuff. It was a very primitive computer by their standards, but it was very advanced for ours. So I drew it up and I put it in the casing for something I seen on television, which was called a Robbie robot. I used his basic bodies to make this thing. Now comes this. Okay, the first drawing here I just drew. I call it a cosmic dart. Basically, it's just a dart that you throw, and it attaches up to a specialized target. This was just a quickie that I came up with. So it was not from where I come from, but it was something I just had an idea for. Now here before you is a very nice celestial friend of mine. Her name is Tarari. She's kind of like a girlfriend, as you would think of her. She thinks of herself as my soulmate. So she's constantly with me with a couple of other. There's Chip and Dale, which are kind of like, they took the name from a cartoon. They liked it, so they told me to call them that. Okay, but she's my travel around girl. Now this here is what you would call the equivalent of a remote control for something. It's not for a TV set naturally, but it was controlling this computer and a lot of other systems that I had. I could sit back and control it by remote. Okay, so it's like a remote control analyzer control panel. All right, I drew this one to go with all the systems, which is like that one. Okay, now these are just some things I built. Now basically these are prismatic energy chambers for healing and communication and various other things. This was the first one I built. It has a 36-inch parabolic reflector dish, and it has various equipment for what it does. Now this is the same kind, but when I had to move up here, I had to take this one apart and reconfigure it into this one. All right. These are a couple of more celestial. Now the one to the left is not one I drew. I told my nephew to draw what would come to his thought in terms of a celestial, and he drew this one, and I drew the one to the right. So they're both celestials, but one was drew by a tiny different person. Oh, here's a good one. This is a suit I wore before I came here. Even though it's very colorful, it was a space suit, and since it was for a kid, that's why it looked so unusual. Okay. Now, this is kind of a female celestial that she projected to herself if she could be the equivalent of one of us, but she couldn't be exactly like us, so she projected herself like this without a hood. So she's kind of a female celestial. Okay, now this girl here is another husband. I drew her not too long ago, but she's just she's a basic celestial. I haven't got her name because it's like a tongue tire. But anyway, it's another celestial. Now here comes another goodie. It's old, but it's a goodie. This was one that was almost destroyed because it ended up getting ruined. But a good friend of mine, Bill, he saved it to what degree he could, and he preserved it a little bit, so it now stands before you. I call it an IDM. It's an interdimensional analyzing device, designed like an Earth type device. Oscilloscope, analyzer, which is a remote control wireless microphone, data like a disk drive. It has lasers for distant analysts and various pieces of equipment in it. I could go on quite a bit of this, but I haven't got that much time, so I'm giving you a quick shot on it. Now here's another analyzer. Okay, this one was like a handheld carrier one. It carried and had all the equipment built into it, So when you were on the go, you could carry and analyze all the stuff around you. Spectral analysis thing, where you can read it. This thing transmits all the signals and picks up all the things that's around it. Okay, there's lots more to be said about it, but I'll have to give you more on another date. Okay, now here's a good one too. Call it a cryogenic chamber. Okay, it tied into a very complex system that kept a person's biological function while he was in stasis. It looks unusual, but it's an Earth-type version of what they showed me. Okay, I had to do it Earth style because I couldn't see all the complexity of it. Now this is that same piece of equipment I told you with the brains in it that controlled your spaceship. You notice the brain that controlled all the systems, and it controlled the propulsion, it controlled everything. This is what I had when I was out there, but this thing was incapable of correcting things for what I was doing before I got killed. So it did the best it, but it did get my body home, and my father was quite upset about it. He's probably still mad about it, but me doing this. Okay, now here are a bunch of Celestians. I made a cassage with them all on one piece of paper. There's just various ones, and each one of them is their own like a different one of my friends. Okay, but as you can see, they're all different, even though they're all Celestians. Okay. Here's another Celestian which I done front and back and side. I call her Goldie just jokingly, but that's what color she is. She's kind of a golden. She is golden, with the various colors like purple, yellow, blue, and all that. But she's a nice little girl. Now she's saying, "Little one, it's you and me against the world. Sometimes I feel." Okay. All right. Now here's another couple of Celestians. A silver one and a gold. This is Chip and Dale. That's the basics of them. Okay. This is Dale. She says she's the golden girl. Chip, he's kind of like a plain guy. He's just a green with the basics. Okay. Now, this is an unfinished one, but this is just a Celestian. Okay. And this is something. Now, this is interesting. This is something me and my sister saw. What Came in the Night by Barry Paul. We came from a place called we kept from the place I picked my nephew up, and we come back from Tracy, and we kept seeing this thing up in the sky that was like an airplane, we thought, and everywhere we went it was moving. So when we got home, I went in the house and got in bed, but when my sister come yelling, come out there, I see something. And when we came out, we saw a triangular shaped thing approaching the house with a bluish blush aura around it. And they had lights on all ends, 3 lights, one in the front and 2 in the back. And it flew. It was hovering, coming toward the house. And when it got over the house, it went back again. It just went and it just disappeared. Okay. This was an idea for another chamber I built. I didn't quite finish it, but I'm still thinking about building it. Okay. It has all my equipment built into a cabinet, a transparent cabinet, with a kind of like a specialized board, which was that one there on the top of it. I didn't get around to finish it. Someday I hope to do that. Okay. This is 2 Celestials that I had. They said, "I bid you greetings, love." It's a male and a female. They're like Nasha and her soulmate boyfriend. But this is not how they look. But I just drew them just to symbolize them. Okay. Now this is not. Don't get this wrong. This is a weapon. It's like a knife, and it's very unique. These are handles that you stick your finger through. And as you see, it's a short blade. It was a ceremonial weapon that our race had. We never were a warrior like, but we had these things like you would create like a what we call it, like a game thing where people played with things, but they didn't try to hurt each other with them. But this is what that is. Okay, this is the drag pterosaur. It's like a celestial, but basically it doesn't really exist because they're not dogs. They're not this small, but they projected that to me one time just for the fun of it. Oh, here you go. Now, mind you, my ship ain't pink and blue, but basically a ship from there looked like this. Okay, this is what I was in when I hit that rock. Okay, all the windows and things broke out of it, which is down here, and they decompressed. When that happened, the automatic control thing took the ship home with me aboard, and my soul stayed there. I'll give you more information on that later. This is kind of like an animatronic robot thing I did. It's not as detailed as the actual one, but this was the beginning of it. And I got better pictures, then I'll show you those later. This was like inside that spaceship. Okay, the one I just showed you on the piece of paper. This shows you the what I call a a magnetic duction coil in it, which takes the energy and it sucks it in and it throws it out the bottom, giving it the propulsion to go up. Then the rim has the propulsion system that move it in either direction you want to go, and it has a stabilizer, so it just will go like flip over on you. Okay, now these are just a bunch of celestials that I drew, and they're all up for people who would like to have them. Okay, basically they're just a bunch of celestials. Okay, this one, her name is Quizara Na Rock Nuck. Oh, but doesn't roll up tone very well. But anyway, they're all celestial, and they're all nice girls, all banned to be put in hang on somebody's wall. All right. And this is kind of a story. I'll try to get to that one before I do it. They are all celestials, and each one are friends of mine. They talk to me every time I draw one. We talk while I'm working, so I can get the idea of what they look like. Okay. And so you see, they're all sweet, gentle, and very understanding creatures. Consider what they have to work with. Me. I'm going to say sometimes I'm very difficult to work with. I'm so demanding. But anyway, as you see, there's a whole lot of these drawings. So anybody who thinks they see one in here they like, they can contact Bill, and you can discuss the matter with him. Okay. So these are all viable ideas with drawing. Oh, this is Screamer, and the name consists of, he's a real scream. Okay, he's just something that I came up with. Now, celestials don't look like that. Okay, that's just something I made out of my head. I saw it and I drew it. But one of my celestials projected a funny idea for me. So she called herself a Screamer. Oh, now I love this one. I got this off of another science fiction book. It was called it was what was the name? I forgot the name of the book, but this was the helmet I saw on it. And I was thinking about a helmet, a telepathic helmet, using microvision and helmet things. Okay. Now that's about it. Okay, that was a lot. And the only thing left is this. Okay, now this is something that they said to me. Hearken to me and listen well. Sit under my hood and a story I will tell. It's only one of many I have. The story is about the little one. Or, as we call the husband is what we're called. Given this name by a special friend. We love him from beyond the stars. So to you mortals, he's called Barry Paul. Now, we don't mean to be bold, but our race is very old. So listen to what you're told, cause baby mama knows. For you see, as the story goes, we met the little one long ago. He came from another place before he joined your race. We have the pleasure of finding him, but also the sadness to say we had to see him die. For you see, his ship hit a big rock in space, and one of us did the unthinkable. Interfered. It's something we never do. But the sadness which we saw broke our hearts, so we knew we couldn't stand by and see his plight. So we took him in hand and sent him on, so now he lives among you as one of your kind. So here we will stop till another time. So until that time comes again, you best take care of the little one. That was something they especially put out for the human race to hear. So for now, this is Barry C. Paul saying peace, harmony, and I'll continue to bring more information to you as I get it.